Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into some deep theological waters. We're exploring the second God, or as the texts often call him, the last Adam. Our sources are these incredible ancient texts, and our goal for you today is to unpack why certain sacrifices were seen as necessary, and what that means for, well, human freedom and purpose. We'll look at this idea of a divine being taking on a body of death, experiencing human suffering, not just in theory, but with some vivid details. Ready.
Absolutely. And it gets fascinating right away. The core concept, you see, is that this second God becomes the last Adam. He deliberately takes on human form. But it's specified, isn't it? Not just any form, but a body of death, as the source calls it, our, frail mortal existence, and even cursed flesh.
Curse the flesh, meaning our tendency towards sin.
Exactly, our fallen nature. And this meant experiencing all the human temptations, the sorrows. The texts are quite detailed about this part.
Right, and it wasn't just like putting on a costume, was it?
Yeah.
The source material suggests he actually inherited fleshly desires through Mary, which is quite a statement, yet completely sinless.
Precisely. Sinless, that's key.
So that raises the big question. Why? Why this incredibly intense form of incarnation? Why was that necessary?
Well, this is where the source offers a really powerful insight. It wasn't just about salvation in the way we might typically think. It was a demonstration, a proof, if you will, to show that the commandments, God's laws, can be kept, even by someone in this body of death.
Ah, so it counters the excuse that it's just too hard for humans.
Exactly. It provides the perfect example. The source emphasizes, that God only allows trials we can actually endure. So this proves the commandments are within reach.
Okay, so if the goal was this powerful proof, then the source digs into the experience of that proof, the suffering, the agony. And it says something really striking, that intense anguish, the sweating blood. It wasn't primarily about fearing physical death.
That's what the text suggests. The main source of agony, according to this material, was the spiritual torment, the pain of feeling abandoned by the Father, cut off from that infinite love. It's a much deeper kind of suffering being described.
That is, that's a very stark image.
It is. And the source connects this to a really potent analogy. It references King Solomon's judgment, from the ancient stories.
With the two women and the baby?
That's the one. The real mother is willing to give up her child, let the other woman have him, rather than see him split in two. That act of abandoning her claim, which felt like death to her, was to save the child's life.
Okay.
The source draws a parallel. That mother represents the last Adam's love. He abandoned himself to death on the cross, like the mother giving up her child for humanity's sake.
Yeah.
This act, the source says, reveals God's love, provides atonement, that reconciliation, and crucially empowers us.
Empowers us how?
Through the Holy Spirit to actually keep the commandments. It circles back to that.
Right. So bringing it all together then, the grand purpose, his willingness to take on the body of death, suffer, but overcome sin. It validates the commandments, proves they can be kept.
Yes, it validates their truth and achievability, which, as the source points out, sets the standard for judgment.
And there's more to it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The sacrifice is also presented as destroying the power of death itself and the devil's hold, reclaiming the dominion that the first Adam lost. Through this act, the source explains humanity can get forgiveness, receive the Holy Spirit, and ultimately overcome sin, which leads to resurrection and the final goal, creation completed, sin gone.
So in this view, what does real faith look like? Is it just believing these things?
Not according to these texts. No, it's more active. True faith is described as something that produces results. Tangible change is what the source calls the fruits of the Spirit, actual transformation.
Okay, wow. That's quite a journey we've taken through these ideas. So as we wrap up this deep dive, it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it? If a divine being went through such an extreme, painful experience, embracing a body of death, all to prove truth and enable our freedom, what does that imply about our own potential, our ability to face challenges, even when we feel trapped in our own limitations, our own body of death? It's a provocative idea from the source. If the commandments truly are achievable, what's our next step?